Communism. Woo!
Hello everyone, this is Strawman. Damn it, I can't see a thing in this.
Now here's something that's always pissed me off. MRAs like to run around with a lot of reactionary ideas.
Sounds a bit like communism reacting against the forces of capitalism. I don't know, I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of communists who go around with a lot of reactionary ideas, and it kind of really pisses me off as a socialist leaning person to be always grouped with said people. But you know, I'm sure none of that's going to happen here in this video, and I'm sure you're not going to give me a straw man right now.
And one of their complaints is that, oh, women don't like me because I don't have a lot of money.
Zingo! I don't know, history must be on my side, but hey, I predicted a straw man. Yeah, MRAs apparently get jealous and annoyed that women don't go for them because a lot of them don't have any money. I'm sorry, we're not talking about pickup artists here, mate. We're talking about MRAs, and they want to make sure that men's financial futures and financial well-beings are well secured and are not destroyed and put into jeopardy by a terrible system. Gold diggers taking advantage of men is not really something that can really be helped by MRAs or by anyone, really. People are going to be manipulative and people are going to just use people for money. That's just the way it works. But hey, communism, that'll sort everything out by taking all the wealth, everything, and giving very little to the people who actually need it and give it all to the party. But don't worry, we'll give it you. We're just saving it for an emergency, for the Soviet, you know?
What did you expect?
You know, you would get really frustrated, like I would, if you were compared to a socialist or some other kind of liberal, alright? Some other left-leaning type person. You would be so annoyed at that. Why are you using a picture of Jordan Owen, who is not an MRA, as an example of an MRA? I don't even remember him even saying anything about gold diggers, particularly either. Maybe because he's such a capitalist, maybe you put him in there. But look, he's not an MRA, and neither the people that you just described before. They're pickup artists, or just really desperate men.
And then they turn around and say, well, women are really, really materialistic, so they reject me because I don't have money.
Again, straw man. But even if that was the case, how is communism going to solve that issue anyway? How? How's it going to solve that? It doesn't even make any sense. For one, this never happens. Pickup artists and desperate men are the ones who complain about these people, and they're still going to get used by women anyway, or by other men, because some of them are gay. To be honest, women are no more materialistic than men are, really. I mean, there might be a spectrum, I don't know, but as far as I'm aware, people are materialistic in general, and there's not much you can really do about that. That's why the Soviet Union fell. Or at least one reason why it fell.
But these same people will run around and defend capitalism.
You assert that all men's rights activists / advocates are capitalists or pro-capitalism or full-on conservative free market capitalists or liberals with a free market bent. No, not all of them actually. Not all MRAs view capitalism as a good thing. Some do. You can't really assert that. And who are these MRAs, or these straw men really, who are going around defending capitalism? You can argue that maybe capitalism does have a basis for the reason why men have to pay this ridiculous child support and all these other financial burdens that put men in such a precarious position. But really? Really? Defending capitalism? You've not even told me which MRAs and which political bent these MRAs have, because you've got first wavers who tended, but not always were, a bit conservative, bit religious, maybe capitalistic, I do not know. And now you've got the second wavers who tend not to be so conservative, more liberal, sceptical. Maybe some of them aren't really fans of capitalism. Just saying, you have to specify.
So you're saying a system where the social relations are determined by the economic relations influences social behavior?
Well, no, actually, these social behaviours have been around long before capitalism even existed as a concept, mate. These behaviours have been around since man first learnt how to talk and reason and rationalise the world. Hunter-gatherers, early farmers we're talking about here. Neolithic man thought in a similar way towards men and women as we do now. women to be protected, men to be essentially the ones who will go out and get killed for these women, because the women were still largely very, very important for the survival of the tribe and, as a whole, the species. That's why it's not really the economic situation. Gold diggers will see someone who's rich and get their money. Yeah, so I don't think it's the economic system really that is telling them to behave in this way. I think they just want to manipulate someone and take his money.
You set up an entire system that attaches one's self-worth to how much value they have access to or how much value they can collect. And that value equals social power. But then you turn around and complain that there's a social consequence to having a system like that.
Capitalism is not the reason why the system that favours women over men in regards to the divorce courts and child support and other things like that. It's really to do with attitudes and the fact that feminism has seeped into the system and influenced it for the last 100-odd years. And really, let's be honest, okay? MRAs are not complaining about this. They're not complaining about what you say they're complaining about. Gold diggers are irrelevant. This is just a straw man, mate. They're not complaining about this.
Are all women just completely materialistic? No. But people are materialistic.
We're not arguing about materialism. We're arguing about an unfair system that benefits one gender over another and is actually harming men. We're not talking about materialism. Materialism has very little to do with this problem. Yes, gold diggers could be an issue. They probably are an issue. I don't think the system should be abused as much as it is, but they're a minority of women. We're on about the daily grind of divorce settlements and child custody settlements. That's what we egalitarians and MRAs and the people who cross over are on about. We're not on about capitalism and materialism. This is more of a PUA thing. Women are materialistic. Or maybe even MGTOW. I don't know. You kind of are blurring the lines between MRA, PUA and MGTOW, and I just don't know how to follow you.
Because you built a whole system based on that.
I wasn't going to nitpick people, but I have to. What do you mean by you? We did build this system so that men could be abused. It was lobbied for in government by feminists and the people before them who came up with the Duluth model, okay? We did not invent this system. The people who invented this system are long gone now. And now we're dealing with the consequences of said system. You appointing blame is not going to help. If anything, you not coming up with any solutions and just strawmanning an entire argument for some reason, I don't know why, communism, is not helping either. You are propagating the problem.
You built a system based on the glorification of wealth and social power based on money, and then you turn around and complain when people judge other people based on how much money they have?
The straw man is not working. MRAs are not complaining about how much money people have. That's a PUA thing. We're complaining about where the money goes. We're complaining about how much people have to pay in Canada when it comes to child support, because they have to pay the exact amount the child would have got in their previous life. Even if the child had just been born and they separate for whatever reason. That man has to pay the same amount that he was earning with the mum. And even if he loses his job and he gets a poor paid job where he can't afford the child support, he will get arrested for that. That's what we're complaining about. We're not complaining about materialistic bullshit like that. The world does not always revolve around money and capitalism like you communists think it is. We're complaining about the system that benefits one gender over another. Paul Elam is not complaining about that shit. At least you're using an actual MRA this time, okay? Can you not get it into your thick skull and stop strawmanning us, okay?
You don't get to complain about that. That's the world you wanted.
That's funny, because that's exactly what Stalin said before he sent them off to the Gulag. We did not want this world. I don't think anyone who becomes a men's rights advocate or an egalitarian wants this kind of world. We want a world where people are treated fairly and are not abused by the system. We are not interested in this materialistic bullshit. That could probably be solved at a later date in human history, but right now, we have a serious gender divide that needs to be addressed. And your straw man, your petty argument, where you're conflating MRAs with PUAs and MGTOWs and for some reason left-wing libertarians like Jordan Owen and saying that we're complaining about gold diggers and the fact that we're not worth much because of our money, even though most men don't care about that. And in fact, most women probably don't care about that either.
If you don't like that, maybe you should advocate a different system where wealth doesn't have that social consequence.
Look, I know money's the root of all evil and we'd be better off without it, but we don't live in that world. We do not have the means to change the system into which it's no longer capitalist. We can't do that. All we can do is hope to reform the courts and people's attitudes so that men are not discriminated against. That's all we're after. Communism is not going to fix that issue at all. It's just not.
But it does, because the social relations spring from the economic relations.
Do you mean the relationship between men and women is influenced by economics? Very little. In fact, most of it's evolutionary psychology and necessity. It's biology, not economics or society influenced bullshit. Some of it is indeed societal, but most of it is biological. And this is why we're stuck in this position.
The way you organize, the way products are distributed in society, manufactured in society, have a social consequence.
Yeah, but not when it comes to gender relations and the way that men have to deal with the divorce courts and the child custody courts now, does it?
You don't get to complain that some women are materialistic when you promote a system that glorifies and reinforces materialism.
Again, another straw man. It's not MRAs and egalitarians who are doing this. It's pick-up artists. Or whoever, I don't know. I've never met an MRA who does this. I've never met anyone who's complained about this who's an MRA. Stop the straw man and actually argue the points that our side makes. Okay? That's all we ask for.
Thank you for watching. Why don't you go ahead, rate, comment, subscribe, and share on various social media. And if you want, you can head over to my Patreon page and show your support. Or you could head over to the MRN bookstore and check out some of the latest books available.
So much for smashing the system, eh? Da, comrade. And anyway, that's the end of the video. More straw men. More fucking straw men. See you later.